Hello and welcome to Hacking Your Future with your host, Angie Carrillo. Angie Carrillo is a serial creator, entrepreneur, and advisor. This podcast is about the intersection of science, technology, and personal development, and you will learn more about how to hack your mindset, discover your purpose, and start a business. Angie works with entrepreneurs, technology leaders, and innovators to start businesses and reach their own definition of success. With no further ado, here is your host, Angie Carrillo.
Welcome to Hacking Your Future. My name is Angie Carrillo, and today my job is to deconstruct a world-class entrepreneur to learn more about their mindset, purpose, and business. My guest today is Danhalit Zamalloa. She's a tech entrepreneur and co-founder and CEO of Wibo, a mobile engagement platform. Danha is not only a multi-awarded entrepreneur, she's also a global shaper and an initiative from the World Economic Forum, and she was the former president of AIESEC in Venezuela. I met Danha 5 years ago when she was working on her first company, PagoFlash, which was a great example of how to start and grow a company during uncertain times. In this episode, Danha tells me her story of how she grew up in the era of Hugo Chavez and was part of the political protest movement, and then how she started not one, but two companies during crisis. She started one company during the dictatorship in Venezuela and her second company during the protest movement in Chile. This is a great lesson to start your business during uncertain times, or if you're thinking of starting a business during this COVID-19 crisis pandemic as well. So without further ado, please enjoy this conversation and have fun.
Thank you for doing this. Yeah, actually, I'm graduated already from extreme conditions entrepreneurship. But yeah, starting a company in Venezuela, we started PagoFlash. PagoFlash was amazing, but it's going to be forever one of the best memories of my life. So we started this company in a moment that was really hard. It was maybe 2 years after the President Maduro was elected. And one of the things I love about this company is that it didn't only start with the idea of making a profit. We actually started with a purpose, and that purpose was really easy to feel because of the extreme conditions that we had. And this was to make our country better by building something that was not only working for Venezuela, but we can maybe also export to our countries, but also building a company that was exactly the opposite of the regime that we were living. So in this way, we felt like we were kind of building the country we wanted. And for this, it was one of the most amazing times that I can remember.
Yeah, I imagine, going against the system in a country that everything was so limited, freedom of speech, and everything was just so limited with limited resources. How do you manage to see that as an opportunity instead of, just complaining about the lack of resources, the lack of capital, the lack of, investment? And how do you manage to see that as an opportunity? What was the switch?
Yeah, there were many things, but I remember one of the things that we said all the time was, since we were protesting, I was because of Chavez, we were protesting since we were 12 years old or something. It was all of our childhood to protest. But at some point, we decided to do it in a different way. Our way to protest was to do, the more the government will try to destroy our country, the more we try to build for our country. And I guess this started for me in my personal life in two different times. So one of them was in 2007. That was the political student movement for freedom of speech. I felt really strongly at that time that I could have a say in what my country or the future of my country could be. And second, I had a personal event. Due to the violence, the high rates of crime in Venezuela, my father was kidnapped and killed. So this was definitely one of the hardest moments of my life. It's a pain it's almost impossible to describe. And I guess at the time, you're kind of facing with a choice, right? So either you're really, really just angry and want to destroy everything, or the second thing that my father used to do, which was to have a smile and do the opposite, the best attitude that you can have, and that's to build. And I think I became a builder. That was kind of the point. Then I joined an NGO seeking to potential leadership of young people, and then PagoFlash came, and we tried to also be part of the build of the freedom economy in our country. And I guess that has been the path ever since.
Great. Yeah, it's amazing, right? Everything's a choice in the end. Just as your dad told you, you can choose to complain, not do anything, or you can choose to be a builder of the reality that you want to see in your country, in the world, right? But I want to know, like, deep down, like, there must be something, like it could be your dad or it could be some other influence that drive you to have that resilience mindset, and that mindset that make you choose to be the builder instead of be the one, the potato couch that just complains about the situation. So do you think there's something behind, something that made you to be the builder?
I think probably it's a mix of things, but I'm going to say, like, from my dad, one of the things, he was an entrepreneur. He was a SME, a small medium enterprise. He had a really small company, and he would get robbed a lot, unfortunately, because it was not in like a good place of Caracas. And I remember him like with almost nothing and coming to me. We didn't live in the same house, but he would tell me a story, and he would be really sad because he would lose everything he had. But 3 days later, he came back. He was smiling, and he was telling me how he was going to start his business again. And this happened over and over. So I guess I saw resilience there. And then, of course, with my mom as well, like, she works really hard and all the time was very disciplined. But I guess one big part has to do with my country, and I guess the way Caribbean people is, because we're very resilient. And with this, I mean, we learn how to be happy in hardest time, because we pretty much don't have other choice. Either everything outside is hell and you decide to make your life even worse, or maybe outside is hell and you decide, how am I making this situation better? And I think that's very Venezuelan. Like, we've been fighting for democracy like so long. We're definitely resilient people. And yeah, I guess there's a lot of hope that things can be better. And as long as we have hope, we are still living. And it's a better life than no hope, right? At the end of the day.
Yes, I think maintaining the hope alive. And I'm just struck by something that you said, that even though that you guys don't have many opportunities, it's your decision to see it, to be happy about it, or to be happy and grateful, or to be like angry about it. Do you think this adversity, by not having so many opportunities, make you more grateful for what you have?
I mean, yeah, like, there was a time with the dictatorship and everything that Venezuela just got poorer and poorer and poorer. And I got to see my mom, who worked for like 25 years in one of the biggest companies in Venezuela. And she was like a successful executive and everything. And when she was ready to retire, pretty much like the economy went off absurdly bad. And she pretty much like lost a lot. And I guess it was the fact that you were becoming like poorer and poorer and poorer, like, by the time. It's going to sound weird, but somehow when you have nothing, you're grateful for every little thing, right? And I guess that was a process that actually taught me a lot, because there was a time where I was really grateful just to have my mom right there with me and my sister, and none of them like leaving the country, or just the fact that I could go to my own company. There was a time when I was going to work, I found people like researching for food on the trash cans, it happened a lot back in that time, and have no idea how we enjoyed every meal that we could have. So yeah, it makes you appreciate a lot to have water, running water. Like, even I lived in an okay neighborhood, but still just didn't get water. It's just how it works there. So you just become grateful. It's not all handed to you so easily.
Yeah. So in one of the previous episodes, I talked about one of the stories that I had to pass. That it was when my family lost all our money that we became super united, and we became one as a team. And it was that, like, that made us such a different family than some other one. And it was in that time, right? In those times that you don't have anything, that that you cannot lose anything. So you really, this is something that I'm finding in common with me and some other entrepreneurs that might have help in your risk-taking abilities.
Yes. And also, kind of, it works, like, in terms of when a crisis comes, it's like, oh, maybe I cannot go out of my house today, and that probably doesn't feel good, but you know what? I'm alive, I'm here. So I guess you start to see things differently, and it helps you out going through other different times. And sometimes it gets you prepared, or more prepared, to live difficult things. So I actually, like, when I think about my entrepreneurship in Venezuela, I think of it as a gym for a hardcore training. So like, when we go somewhere else, it's funny, because we had this meeting with an investor, and he asked, like, so how I know you're not going to quit? And if quitting was my thing, probably like do like 5-year startups in Venezuela, I guess. And they're like, oh, okay. It might be true. So, so I guess it helped, right? In terms of like building your character. That's kind of what it does. It builds your character.
Exactly. So switching about the things that we were talking offline, that we are both very grateful, for breathing these days, and what we've been seeing, right? Like all the doctors, and what I was telling you about, my sister is a doctor, and for me, it was a huge lesson on your purpose, right? Like on having your purpose be aligned with your work. And I think this is what we're seeing from all the doctors out there, and like all the medical team in general, that they are willing to, if it happens, if it's something that happens to them, like they're willing to accept it because this is their purpose and they should be working from it. Like, and if this is the thing that they do the last day on earth, they will be happy doing it because this is what they came for. So what about finding that with PagoFlash, and how was the whole timeline on finding that with one company and then having to leave this company and then how to find yourself again with another company?
Yeah, definitely. It got tricky for me, I guess. I think I used to see like my purpose very aligned to my company and what we were building, and about building my country. And I thought this was the only way to do it as well, at least for me to do it. And so one of the things that I kind of went through when I separated from my company was to understand like the broader perspective of purpose, and that it is not your company who defines your purpose. It's you who define your company's purpose. Therefore, it's yours, right? And the company becomes only a vehicle. It's either a company, startup, a project, whatever you do. At the end of the day, it's about the intention that you put behind it. There's a lot of people building companies, but they don't necessarily have an intention. And they don't necessarily see that as a vehicle to do good or to build society or to build jobs or to make more accessible things for more people. So I guess finding the purpose, it's one of the most amazing things because you feel so alive. You feel like every day is worth it. But also you have to be prepared for a time when you evolve and your purpose also evolves with you and you are, let's say, able to refine it again.
I love what you said, that like the company is your vehicle, it's not your only purpose. And there are many options of how to build a company, right? Like you can build it from your purpose, you cannot build it from your purpose, and you can just build any company for money or for fame or some other external validation. But I think it's when you find your purpose and you do a company from inside out is when you are more resilient and you're more willing to fight for no matter the external conditions that you would have.
Exactly. That's what gets you through. It's what gets you through. Because otherwise, like if it's too hard, you just quit. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be famous. Oh, damn it, I quit. Okay, that's probably not going to get you through rough times. There's got to be something more there, something that makes you wake up in the morning and be amazing and be excited about what you're going to do.
I really like PagoFlash, but I think it was what I like about it. It was that I could see you through it, and I could see that you were very passionate about it. So how was the whole, I have to sell my company, I have to leave my job, and I have to find myself again. What was the process that you had to go through? Because I know we were talking a little bit about this offline, and I had to go through a similar situation. And for me, it was very, uncomfortable. And I ended up traveling the world to find something that was inside me, right? And I wanted to know more about what happened for you.
It was really painful, I have to say. I built my identity, I think, around that company and that we were doing. And it was really hard for me. I remember actually looking like at someone asked me like to send a mini biography. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, my title and what I was doing, not the title itself, but what I was doing there in the company defined a lot of my identity. It was hard for me to find myself, but there was a lot of learning with that experience because it was actually like a takeover. It was like we were looking for investment and we found these partners and they looked amazing in a lot of ways in terms of like what we were looking for in a bigger company to acquire us, but not really acquire us, just to invest. But all of a sudden we were not a fit in terms of the philosophy that we were running the company. And that was probably not the biggest issue, but it was the fact that we couldn't not only not agree, but that at the same time, I think I lost my power. And I'm not going to say that in terms of like a decision vote or anything, but I mean in like having the power to help your company succeed with the vision that we all built together before. And it was really hard for me to see like a lot of our values were not there anymore. So I resigned to my position as a CEO, and it took me a while. I was just telling you, I also kind of went a little bit of trouble. And then I found myself and started to build my new life with the only certainties I had, which had nothing to do with work. It was like 31, living in Peru now. I am a woman, and I think creating projects with technology, it's just amazing and what I like to do, and to help people with that, to build tools that help people with that. So let's start something from there, and kind of got me some cool places, even though the pandemic
I know. I think what you just said, like the thing is that I have to send my bio. And in this world, what you do seems to define you, you beyond what should matter, right? And I think this is a nice takeaway. You are more than just your job, than there's your startup, your company, your hobby, whatever thing that you want to create is just one part of what you came here to do on earth. It's not everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I wanted to know, like while managing your companies in these uncertain times of, protest and dictatorships, and how was the whole process of growing a company, of hiring people? Do you have any advice for, like these uncertain times that are coming ahead?
Yeah, I mean, definitely for us, talent was so important. Like PagoFlash was a lot of things, but first of all, it was a great team. And I guess for that, one of the things, it's probably gonna sound silly and basic, but it's amazing how many people don't follow. But the first thing I guess is to recognize that your people, like the team it's people there. And that with that, I mean, they're human beings and they have their own struggles and they have their own dreams and they have their own goals. And when they give you the option, let's say, or they choose among whatever else is there to work for your dream too, that's something to be grateful about. That's something to appreciate. And that's something to make them also feel a part and to help them build together. I think actually not just saying it, but making your team part of the decision making of your company is probably what's going to get them to stay when the time comes and they're hard. We had one time that we had only like 1 month with money, and it was Venezuela, so it was really hard, everything. So I had to be very responsible because I didn't want to just leave them, okay, so you just have no jobs anymore. So I talked to them 1 month before and I told them, so team, this is the truth. We have one more month. We either raise money or we die. And what I want to say with this is if you want to leave the company during this month, I will make sure I'll try to find like either recommendations and to put you as the best as we can to put you in different positions so you go through an easy transition and you are here for the rest of the month. And all 16 of them, they just say like, we're staying till the end. And it was a big bet because Venezuela, it's not easy to say that. I mean, their economies were in danger, but they decided to stay. And we did it though, so it was cool. But I guess it had to do with the fact that they were owners as well.
Yeah, making your team be an owner, right? Like of the company as well. Make it really like part of the company. It can really help, especially in these uncertain times that are coming ahead. Yeah, like I was watching, like there are some other entrepreneurs that are not taking salaries or some other measurements that they are taking right now, so they cannot not fire people right now.
Exactly.
It really struck me how many things like it's actually to become an entrepreneur. Like it's a very challenging job itself, and doing it in these uncertain times, in these like extreme conditions, like you did. It's double as tough, but
it's a bit crazy. Yes.
It is a little bit crazy, but I think in general, entrepreneurship is for just the crazy people. But thank you so much, Danha. It has been great to have you here. Do you have any final thoughts, any final books, tools that you would recommend people to watch or listen?
I really, really like this guy. He's Sadhguru, the Indian guy. He has YouTube videos and even has like an app and everything. But I would say like this time, if you're going to listen, like your company, your whatever, it's around you. It's a reflection of you and who you are. And it's amazing how many other entrepreneurs, they don't take the time to themselves. With the self, I mean to be vulnerable, to cry when it's needed, to know the answer when you don't know the answer, to be gentle, to be kind during these times because they are hard, and it's okay for you to fall. It's okay for you to have a team and for you to catch each other during this time. And I would say take the time to improve yourself, to work in yourself, and not only skills, that's important of course, but also work in your happiness. In your happiness that is going to help you to be a better person and therefore probably a better boss, a better entrepreneur, a better boyfriend or girlfriend. And I guess if we just try to be a little bit better, every one of us, probably it's going to be a more kind world at the end of the day.
We're going to make the world a better place, right?
Yeah, of course.
This is what it's all about. Thank you so much, Danha. It was amazing having you here.
Yes, thank you very much. It was amazing to have this conversation with you.
Thank you for listening to Hacking Your Future with Angie Carrillo. Be sure to tune in next time for another motivating, inspiring episode of Hacking Your Future. Until next time, remember, you are creating your future now.